Vivian's grandmother's cottage perched on the edge of Black Hollow Woods, where mist lingered as thick as honey. It was in this cottage's attic, behind boxes of yellowed lace and moth-eaten books, that Vivian found the doll. Its eyes, painted glass, too round and blue, winked with a peculiar gleam. The doll wore a faded velvet dress, fingers daintily curled, its lips slanted in a sly, perpetual half-smile. Despite a century of dust, its hair was untouched, gleaming black in the candlelight. "Miss Felicity," grandmother called it, tone clipped when Vivian brought the doll downstairs. Her hands trembled as she set it on the parlor mantel. Never let Felicity out after dark. That night, rain tapped against the tiny windows. The wind whistled, winding through the trees like a plaintive wail. Vivian lay restless beneath an itchy quilt, but finally slipped into uneasy dreams. She woke to tiny footsteps, soft as silk slippers, scuffing toward her room. The boards creaked, long and slow. Daring herself, she peeked over her quilt. The doll stood at her door, head tilted, dress hem dusted with breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs from the kitchen's bread box, which she swore had been untouched. Vivian's heart drummed in her chest. She tiptoed to the doll, hands shaking, and carried it back to the parlor. She placed Miss Felicity precisely where she'd found her, facing the fireplace. Daylight did nothing to ease her dread. She asked grandmother, "Why can't Felicity be out at night?" Grandmother's lips tightened. "She wanders until she finds a home. Once chosen, she never leaves." That night, Vivian barricaded her door and wedged the doll into a trunk, piling heavy blankets on top. Sleep was jagged and restless. In the deep dark, the rain stopped. The silence was as thick as wool. Then came the music box melody from the parlor, faint but unmistakable. Into the silence crept little footsteps. Closer, closer. The trunk's hinges squeaked. Vivian's doorknob twitched. Then, the unmistakable scrape of porcelain against wood. The next morning, the trunk was empty. The doll sat upright in the middle of Vivian's bed. Vivian's protests grew desperate. Grandmother burned sage and whispered old prayers, but Miss Felicity always reappeared, closer each night. On the dresser, then the writing desk, then the pillow beside Vivian's own. On the final night, the mist rolled so thick it pressed against the windows. The lamp flickered as Vivian tried not to blink. Suddenly, the doll spoke. Its tiny porcelain voice was a whisper pressed against her ear. "I like this home." She tried to run, but slender porcelain fingers gripped her wrist, far stronger than they had any right to be. Vivian's scream was swallowed by the mist, by the woods, by the unending night. When her parents arrived a week later, they found only Miss Felicity perched on the parlor mantel, eyes shining, lips slanted in a sly, perpetual smile. And Vivian was nowhere to be found. Which part scared you the most? Comment below and follow Cryptic Zone.